Hello, everybody. It's Wrestling with the Willies. We're going to be talking about Double or Nothing 2025 edition. And it's me and Jeremy, Josh and Jeremy. So,
Josh and Jeremy.
yeah. So I have a lot of shit to say on this. I don't know. Ever since we started watching AEW pay-per-views, I've had I like AEW, but ever since they started with All In, this was ages ago when Cody Rhodes took a bet on himself to do shit, and then Nick or Tony Khan decided to start it. I was always behind them, but this pay-per-view I had a very big problem with.
Well, at least this one with the kickoff matches, there was only 11 total matches.
Yeah, 11 total matches, and it ran 5 fucking hours.
Yeah. Well, if we would have actually watched the kickoff show.
Yeah.
So we can preface that by saying we did not watch the kickoff show.
Yeah,
so
and we
the
watched
Anna
it
J,
live too.
Yeah,
right?
the Anna J and Harley Cameron match where they defeated Megan Bain and Penelope Ford, we did not see. That was 12 minutes and 40 seconds. And then
Roppongi Vice.
Yeah, the second one was Bandito, AR Fox, and Los Titanes del Air, who was Hologram and Commander. They defeated RPG Vice, Rocky Romero, and Trent Beretta.
Yeah,
and
Roppongi Vice, yeah.
And CRU, which is Action Andretti and Leo Rush.
Leo Rush, yeah, that's I guess it's supposed to be CRU or something, or I don't know exactly how to say. And they've been flip-flopping people so much over there, it's hard to keep track. Because, I mean, this is the first pay-per-view back since for a while that we were watching of AEW. I think there was one that we watched quite recently, watched but didn't cover on the channel.
Well, I know I went to Wrestle Dream last year and we didn't cover that. I actually went to that one, and then we made a decision to only cover what we deemed the big four with AEW because we weren't going to cover them every month, considering
because
it's a $50
pay-per-view every month. And I cannot afford $50 every fucking month.
And the funny thing is that considering how long it's been since I've watched a lot of AEW, I didn't miss much because there wasn't much the same shit the last time I was we'll go over it, but I mean, we missed those two matches. The first match of the card, of the main card, was Mercedes Mone and Jamie Hayter.
Yeah, and that was one of the better matches on the whole entire card.
And that was for the final of the Owen Hart
or Owen Hart tournament. For whoever wins, they have a men's side and then a women's side. The men's side is later, but they whoever wins gets the title belt and their name on the trophy, I guess. And then they get to go against the women's champion at the time. And still, Mercedes Mone is still a 3-time champion, I think, right now. I think she still has the Stardom belt, which she lost at one point. And then
she's holding all but one.
Yeah, it's she lost the Stardom belt, and I guess she might have won it back again or something by the time that they had this pay-per-view, because she lost it by not taking the pinfall or whatever. And then she has the TBS championship, and then she has whatever the other one is.
I would agree that this was one of the better matches on the card.
Well, that's because it was a nice show opener. It wasn't it ran its course, and you already knew who was going to win, which was Mercedes Mone, because they were kind of building to that with Toni Storm, and that's probably going to be one good match. Jamie Hayter, I like, but she the problem with the match was she called her damn lariat 3 times and made it look super obvious that she was going to miss it a few times. But that was the only thing, is that she was calling out for her finisher too many times. Other than that, I liked how Mercedes Mone, I think she won with a roll up, and she darted towards the championship.
Yeah, she took off as soon as she won.
As soon as she won, she was out.
Yeah.
But after that, all the other matches went downhill, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's crazy because the one thing that I did not know, and I think in watching this, was that FTR went heel since the last time I've actually paid attention to AEW.
Yeah. Well, supposedly, I think Edge got hurt or Cope, as people have been calling him in the AEW. I think he got hurt again or something. Either that or he was just trying to go on vacation or something. I don't know exactly what happened, but they did like a concerto thing. Like I think I don't remember who he was going against. He was going against somebody. I don't think it was a patriarchy, but it was somebody to that effect.
Mm-hmm.
And then because they couldn't beat him, they turned on him. And then Stokely Hathaway got behind him, which it seems like they have too many heel managers in AEW. They got Mark Sterling that's behind MJF right now, and literally anybody that they want to like have like as a heater or whatever for some of these guys. And then they got Stokely Hathaway, which flip flops all the damn time. But literally, this match, like the next match was FTR, and then Nigel McGuinness and Daniel Garcia, and holy
Well, so I
fuck,
wanted
man!
to preface this. So you talk about Cope or Edge. He was
Yeah,
assaulted by FTR at AEW Dynasty. So that's how he got hurt this
yeah.
latest time.
I thought they did a concerto on him or something. I
Mm-hmm.
thought that's what it was. Either that or they could have done the spike pile driver because they started doing that now and then did it afterwards. But like they started doing the spike pile driver now, like which I don't think they were. I think they only pull that out whenever they're trying to be heels in AEW. It seems like, but
But yeah, they defeated Daniel Garcia and Nigel McGuinness, and if I remember right, Nigel McGuinness wasn't in the match for
well, the
very
thing
long.
is, like, I mean, Nigel is still like he has neck issues, so he can only probably wrestle so much. Like, so they're probably trying to keep him in like
Why
matches,
have
but
him
they don't
wrestle
want to
then?
have him. Well, the thing is,
It's almost like Christopher Daniels when they were
it
having
might
him
be
wrestle.
because Nigel wanted to. I don't know exactly for sure,
I
but
get that, but it's like
the
Christopher
whole thing
Daniels.
with
Remember
Tony
when we
Schiavone was in it, and like it reminded me of what they did with the previous one that we were talking about, the other pay per view, where fucking Michael Cole came out and did the shit with Pat McAfee. Was almost the exact same thing. The only thing was that Tony didn't like try to pull their legs out to get a pin off of them or something.
uh-huh.
But what were you trying to say?
No, I was just saying it's like Christopher Daniels when he had the eye issue. He was wrestling with it. I remember when we talked to him on the cruise,
Yeah,
he was talking about how he couldn't see out of that eye. Remember, he was talking
yeah.
about the. So it was like, why are you wrestling then? I get that's your job and shit, but I wouldn't be wrestling if I couldn't see out of one of my eyes.
Well, I think that's mostly why he stopped wrestling so much, is
Well, for the
because of
longest
that.
time, he still had the blood pooling in his eye, but I don't
Yeah,
think that's an issue now. But as the last time I saw him, but I think at Wrestle Dream, he had his last match. I think that
yeah,
was when they basically, the Young Bucks fired him, if I remember right. But
yeah.
anyhow, but yeah, I mean, the whole card to me was mid.
Dude, it was so much
And
fucking filler in this
yeah,
pay per
and
view.
like,
And that's
well,
why I
let me
missed
go
the
back to
fucking 3 months
Mercedes Mone
shit.
real quick. So I go over
Yeah.
the times of the matches normally. So that match went 21 minutes and 15 seconds. And then the FTR match went 22 minutes and 30 seconds. So no. And but if you look at the time for a lot of these, they didn't need to. So I mean, it's like it was literally just filler for the majority of these
Yeah, like
matches.
it was just it people like talk about like they go either or on both like any of Dick Glazer. I should do different terminology, but like it just feels like it's just like it's dick writing for like AEW and and opposite for WWE. Every time you see on Twitter or whatever, there's always like some people are like, "This is why you shit on this. This is why you shit on that." I watch pretty much as much wrestling as I can, which I like to watch New Japan stuff because it's a different type of wrestling compared to like other places, but it's kind of in the same vein as like AEW. And then TNA is like TNA has gotten a lot better since when I stopped watching it like ages ago, mostly because Dixie Carter didn't know what the fuck she was doing. But like I don't tend to get crucial like critical on some of these things. But like I was saying this in like when we were watching it, that it seems like like Tony Khan loves certain people. And no matter what he does, he loves to like no matter what it is, when it's John Moxley, Okada, FTR, literally all these guys, Chris Jericho, all of them, if he really likes you, he keeps you at the top of the card and you barely ever fucking lose. Barely. And it shows. And that's my main problem with it, is that you didn't have anything else for Chris Jericho to do, so you put him on Ring of Honor as like a dude that can help like be the forefront of that one because you need to get eyes on that. So what do? You keep having him do the same shtick over and over again, which I don't know if it's his creative control or not, but like it seems like you just don't let him lose often, and then you do the same thing with Jon Moxley.
Yeah, and the nice thing is he wasn't even on this card.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was like certain people that I was just like, I was surprised that they didn't have on it. Like FT, especially knowing that I only remember seeing certain bits and pieces, which eventually we're going to get to the match. But like certain people, like Darby and stuff, that I thought were going to be here, and then they weren't. So it's like, and then that's my main issue too with these every month matches. They're not exciting anymore. Literally, we were like, oh, so there's no surprise now. And it's because he does them every month now. So it doesn't have the same mystique or anything anymore. Literally, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
there's no big exciting thing and makes you want to watch every single one. Like that's why I said like every 3 months is good because like it's not like it's too much or whatever. Like it doesn't drain your stuff or whatever, but like or is too much for you to do. But it's like with this crap, it's like this match was total filler to me. Like Nigel didn't need to be in the match. They didn't do anything for any of the guys except for make FTR more of heels, which is like.
Well, these 4 matches, I would say that we're getting ready to talk about, were all filler to me.
Yeah.
So,
well, most of the
like this
matches
FTR one was because it just was, and it was 22 minutes of that. And then we move on to Ricochet and Mark Briscoe, which.
Oh, man, and I gotta like go off right here, right? Okay, I understand that you're trying to get Ricochet over as a major heel, but you literally okay, so like you have Mark Briscoe go in a match, an ambulance match with him, and yes, Mark Briscoe's been in hardcore matches, but you literally made him wait several times. Then you do his froggy bow through a table. There's like so much shit that Mark Briscoe does. Then Ricochet barely does anything, throws him in the ambulance, and slowly, might I add, closes the door and then it's done. And I'm like, that didn't help Mark Briscoe at all. Like,
oh, and Mark Briscoe
it made
took
him
all
look
the
like a fucking
bumps.
idiot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
it
was
made
bleeding
him.
out his ass and all this other shit. And
Yeah,
then we'll
and
get to
didn't
that
do
later.
anything.
We'll get to it later, but anyways, he ends soaked in blood. I mean, literally, dude's he was
He's
red
bleeding
from.
like a stuck pig.
Yeah.
And then Ricochet's trying to, like, some people
And
are saying,
Ricochet
like, he's
wasn't bleeding
doing
at
the
all, if
best
I
heel
remember
work.
right.
Yeah,
I
he
don't
didn't
think
even bleed.
Ricochet had, and it's like,
And it's
dude,
supposed to be like a hardcore match, and he doesn't do anything and literally just shows them in the thing. Like, there was moments where it was, like, massively slow paced, and I'm like, it's making you look bad doing this shit because it's making Mark Briscoe look stupid because he's, like, waiting until last fucking second to
well,
push open the door.
for a Ricochet match, it was very slow.
Well, that's what I'm saying, and I get it. Like, he's trying to be a high flyer. But like knowing that he's a heel, it's kind of like he's trying to avoid that sort of stuff. It seems like, but like,
Yeah, but that's his shtick. I just don't get
well,
it. That's what he's known
that's what I'm
for.
saying. And then like
So
him
it's
doing the
like,
aha and all that stuff, it's kind of funny, but it gets old at one point. Like, like
but this one went 16. This one went 16 minutes and
that's
20
what I'm
seconds.
saying.
Went way too
Yeah,
long.
yes. And then it was like, why do an ambulance match in the first place? Like, I didn't understand why they did some of these matches. It didn't make no sense.
Well,
And
again,
it didn't
part of
help
the problem is
nobody.
I haven't been watching AEW, so I don't even know if there was storyline driven up to
Well,
this
it
point.
was like
There tends
storyline
not to
stuff where
be,
they started fighting people. And then
but there
they,
tends not to be with AEW. It's like they just
yeah,
throw
like
shit together
they
on a
don't,
monthly basis.
their story wise is like very like bottom barrel. Like they don't
Hmm.
do a lot of explaining for certain feuds. But
Like
like like the Paradigm, or Paragon thing. I didn't even know that they changed their name from the Undisputed Kingdom to Paradigm or Paragon.
Paragon, yeah.
Yeah, it's like I didn't even know that. It's like they should have just went back to WWE for some of these guys.
Well, and not only that, the next match, and I know we're kind of going through these pretty quick, but there wasn't much to any of these,
Yeah,
to
like
be honest
it
with
was
you.
all filler, dude.
But yeah, the
This
next
could have
match,
happened on a Dynamite.
yeah, the next match was the Hurt Syndicate defeated the Sons of Texas. It's
Which
like, what the
you could
fuck
tell.
are these names that they're?
Yeah,
It's like,
and
oh my
I
lord!
knew that they were
But
a
the
Ring
Hurt
of Honor
Syndicate, and I've
team.
talked about this with a friend of mine. Really, you get the same guys and you call them almost the same name. Like you can't come up with a different name even. They go from the Hurt Business to the Hurt Syndicate, which is just a synonym for business.
And then their whole thing
then
is
they
we
recruit
hurt
MJF.
people.
We know how that's going to go. It's like, why the fuck did they even do it? I mean, it's like,
yeah, he's like, I could hurt people. It's like,
it's a lame storyline.
Yeah, it doesn't help anybody.
No,
really,
and you know exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like MJF's going to turn on him at some point, and it's going to be when they want the Hurt Syndicate to either go face or heel, depending on, because they won't make MJF heel, so it's going to be more of them being a face and destroying
isn't he supposed to
MJF.
be a heel still? I don't
No,
know.
but
that's the thing. I'm
that's the
so out of the
problem with
loop
this,
with some of the
with the
shit
Hurt
because you
Syndicate.
can't
It
tell
seems
if
like they're more face than heel.
Yeah,
But it seems
because
like they're heels.
they literally do the
So
thing where it's called "We Hurt People," like for
yeah.
their theme song. So and people chant along with it. So they're like faces because they cheer them, but like they're supposed to be bad guys. And
But
I'm just
this
like,
match,
all
but the
filler.
Hurt Syndicate match was the shortest on the card, including the pre-show matches.
Yeah, and the Sons of Texas, it's like you don't have anything to do with Sammy Guevara, so now it's like, oh, they're both from Texas, so
yeah,
what are we gonna do? Call them Sons of Texas?
And I did see, since we watched Double or Nothing, they lost Mariah May. For anybody that knows, she went to NXT, but they brought Tay Mello back.
And like I said about the tribalism for like both sides, like people were bitching because she went to WWE. WWE probably offered her a nice, decent amount of money. And
I've heard they offered her less.
Then I've heard, well, still, is she gonna get more extra stock from going to WWE, or is she gonna get
for sure? For sure,
she's gonna get a bigger name off of that by going to WWE than she was at AEW.
Just for sure.
I mean, she does.
But that's what I heard is that
AEW
offered her more money, but she turned it down and went to WWE anyway.
Yeah, because I mean, sure, like whatever.
Yeah, I mean, for any of these wrestlers, the pinnacle is going to be WWE. If you get, that's why I'm surprised if anybody gets offered, they don't go.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like really.
It's MJF probably MJF probably got offered, but like he was just like.
Well, at the time, he was the top AEW guy,
well,
though.
That's what I'm saying. You can't say that he Why would you say no to like Tony Khan if they're offering you this amount of money because they know that you would probably go to WWE and eventually, I still think he's going to go there.
Well, yeah, eventually he will. Just like any of them.
Everybody does. It's like you'll have think Aleister Black was going to come back. Yes, of course he was going to go back.
Oh, I knew. Yeah, I mean that was a given. Same thing with Rusev.
I mean, all of them. Like you pay him a certain amount of money, and that's why some people were saying that there was rumors that the reason why they went back to Vegas was because they owed $30 million. Yeah, fucking right. Yeah, right. They did not.
No, they went back there because they were going to get more money there.
Yeah.
That's why they went there.
They get a shit ton of money in WrestleMania and all these other pay-per-views
we were there
every year.
We went last year, and we may go next year because Liam's already, or my kids are already talking about it.
Again. I was for real going to go to New Orleans.
But you think about New Orleans for 2 days, what else is there to do there? The city doesn't have a lot to do, so it's not going to make even the city as much money.
Yeah, thinking that other people would do
Vegas has all the setups, dude. All the all that shit they did all week long. Well, all that stuff they did all week long. Like they did the roast at Fontainebleau. They did the Hall of Fame. They did all of it right there. They typically do that at WrestleMania,
but though is for like people like WrestleCon and shit, like knowing that they do it in the same town. That sucks for them because they're probably still gonna have to like do all that shit in New
Well,
Orleans,
yeah,
even
you
though
just
that it's not in
rebook the
Vegas.
thing.
Yeah,
You just
well, they
rebook it
said that
there again.
supposedly you like have to book like a year ahead or some shit, but I'm sure that they could find a workaround. I'm sure
Yeah.
that they could, but like
But
that's
anyways,
what I say, and that usually never happens that they switch stuff
yeah, I was
like
shocked
usually
that,
never happens, and that's why they're like, oh, the rumor
especially
is.
after they announced one already. I mean,
Well, that's what I'm saying. You
they
think that
announced that it
it's
was
like
going
they
to New
announced it
Orleans.
for like 2 years, and then they're like, oh, and then they change their mind. You know that there's a reason for that. It's not because they owe money.
What's money?
If anything, they're
Because they
taking
didn't
money
pull
hand over
out
fist.
completely from. Well, they didn't pull out completely from New Orleans. Triple H talked about it at the pre or the
Well,
post
yeah, he
show
could always
for
end up
Money in the
doing another.
Bank. They
Yeah,
probably gave them more pay-per-views or something, more premium live events outside of WrestleMania.
yeah. Well, I mean, if they were doing all that stuff like the week of, I mean, like because
No,
they
what I
did a
mean
lot.
is
They did
like
that
instead.
roast thing of WrestleMania, and they did
Well, yeah,
what's it called, the Pat McAfee show and all that stuff. They did
but that's
stuff
what I'm
throughout
talking
the
about.
whole week.
They did that at the Pat McAfee show was like located at WWE World. So he
Yeah,
was like literally off to the right when we were there.
yeah,
But yeah, the roast, you're able to do that stuff in Vegas. There's not a crazy amount of hotels and stuff like that in New Orleans to be able to do
yeah,
that, especially right in the generalized area.
yeah.
But
But anyway, yeah, like we were
but
just saying, like generally, yeah,
well, yeah, but I mean, the next match we didn't there wasn't much to go with the Hurt Syndicate. It was a tag team for the World
yeah,
Tag Team Championship. They won, but then it was
yeah,
Okada
and you
versus
could call that.
Speedball Mike
So,
Bailey, which I didn't
so
even know who the
okay,
hell that guy was. To be honest
okay.
with you.
He started out. I think he was doing New Japan stuff first. Then he went to TNA. Then his TNA contract went out. Then he did AEW, which is kind of like how Josh Alexander is now. But I think mostly Josh Alexander did mostly TNA before his contract went out and went to AEW. But like I was hearing rumblings of Speedball for a while now. And then like a lot of people spoke highly of his wrestling stuff. And what I saw of it, it was pretty cool. Like he does this little splash where he does the knees
Mm-hmm.
on somebody. I was like, ooh, that looks cool. But like, this is where I'm talking about the dick riding for certain people. Okada comes in like directly, which I feel that it's amazing though that he did it, but he probably saw what happened to Shinsuke and he was like, fuck that.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you see what they did with Shinsuke in WWE, they did super well with him in NXT, but then as soon as he went up to the main roster, they shit the bed with him super hard several times. But once again, I'm surprised that he didn't go. That's the main thing. So then they hire him into here. They instantly take the title off of Eddie Kingston for the Continental Championship. I think that's what they called it at the time. And then they went to him, and he's had it since. So he's had it like over
Yeah,
a
he's had it since
year.
he won it. I don't think
Yeah,
he's
he's had it
lost.
over a year. He's barely done any matches. I don't think. If like currently, I don't think he's defended it much. Like I
No,
don't
only
know
at the
exactly for
major.
sure.
I think it's almost been like a Roman treatment. It seems like.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He's probably did it like 10 times since he's had it for like over a year.
But I don't
And
really like his wrestling.
see, like I don't
Like
mind his
to
wrestling,
me,
but it's
well,
boring. I'm like, to me, I don't like his character right now. I
that's
understand
what I'm saying. I don't
why
know if it's
they,
because he's a heel or what, but I can tell you, I like Takashita way better than him.
yeah, I do like Takashita a lot, but like
But
Okada's
they
done
don't
some
push
really
him. They
good
have him part of the
matches.
Don Callis family. But
Well,
anyways,
yeah, yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like you could see with Okada, Tony Khan's a fan of him because I was
yeah.
talking about. I was like, dude, he's had the belt for a long time, so they could totally drop it to Speedball. Then he could have it for a certain amount of time. You know, do something with it because they don't defend it all that much.
Mm-hmm.
Because I knew at one point it was going to be Kenny Omega versus Okada at one point because everybody knew that it was building to that. If they're in the same company, they're eventually going to have a match. So what happens? They do this and it's okay. But I was like, dude, drop the belt to Speedball. Then they don't even do that. Literally do the same exact shit that they do with him in every match where one Rainmaker, it's over, which I understand protecting the finisher and everything. But it's like All Okada does now is he sits there, he barely defends stuff, is with the Young Bucks, and then points his finger, a middle finger at people and says,
Yeah.
bitch. And
Yeah.
that's all he does. That's
Mhm.
all his gimmick is right now. And I
Yeah.
was just like, do you really need the belt on him? No.
Well, no,
He
and
could have been and going after the main belt or something. He could
yeah,
have
and
been
it's
doing like
with no, I'm just sorry, I didn't mean to. It's proof with the fact that it's 16 minutes and 5 seconds was how long this match went.
yeah, and it was like I liked the match, but also at the same time didn't think that Okada needed to win. But you could tell, like I said about the dick riding thing,
I'm on a
it's a
podcast,
theme.
dude.
It is definitely a fucking theme
It's on its way.
with every match. Like I can hear Aiden in the background.
Yeah.
Oopsies.
Gonna have to cut that part out.
But that's my whole issue with it. So they do this with Okada. They don't do. Have Speedball lose, which fine, whatever. They could do something else. But if you watch Dynamite now, literally, they're doing an all-in. They're doing a fucking match where they're unifying the titles. So it's like you have so many titles now. You're gonna unify them. It's like, why do you make all these titles if you're just gonna unify them a few months later? Or
Yep, and we
few
will be
years
watching
later.
that one here.
And then,
Hey, no, we will be watching that one here. I've got a couple friends coming to watch that one here.
yeah. So
You were supposed to be coming out that week, but
I know. Well, yeah. Well, money issues. That's like the main thing. It was like I was telling mom about it. It was gonna be like $700 for me to get tickets to go out there for like a week or whatever.
for a
So I was
flight.
like, yeah, for a flight to get out there and back. It was like $700. It's like, yeah, I definitely can't afford that. Like, yeah, straight up. At like one point, I was like, yeah, I don't think I'll be able to afford that. But
What day were you looking at?
it was for July, and it was like 4 months early, so I thought it was going to be a little bit cheaper. But then, yeah, it didn't. But they asked for $700. Like, I don't remember which website I used. I know I used like a standard one, but like it could have been a bit different if I would have looked for something else. But I didn't get around to like looking around for more of them. That just kind of killed the vibe on it. So, and
Well, this one I found
not
one for
meaning to talk
400.
about this anyway.
But anyway,
For
$100. I'm
400.
saying
Well, you're probably looking at a different website, probably
American.
more than
Anyway,
anything. Well, that's what I'm saying. Did you go directly to it, or were you doing like a different website? Because what I saw
I have
was
a
like,
website where I can pull all of them up.
okay, that's
So
probably what it is then. Probably because
yeah,
I think I
425.
just did a standard one, and it was saying it was $700, and I was
Yeah,
like, shit, I ain't gonna be able to have the $700 for that.
425.
But anyway, so where are we at? Are we on the Anarchy and the arena match now?
That's Timeless Tony Storm.
Oh, okay.
And Mina Shirakawa.
So, and this one, I don't know so much about Mina Shirakawa at all, and I didn't really care for it. I like Tony Storm. I swear I
The
thought
problem
that she
again,
had
this was kind of filler because especially seeing who won at the beginning, you knew what was going to happen in this match.
you knew that Mina Shirakawa wasn't going to win.
Yeah.
So, and that's one thing that takes me out of some of these matches when they're playing filler matches. It takes away from like how the actual match is going to go because you're already thinking no matter what she's not going to win. I like it when they do stuff like when the Acclaimed did that match with I forgot what it was it the Gun Club back in the day where like it was right before they won their first title belt, or maybe it was House of Black. It was one of them teams. I don't remember
Where they
which
fought
one.
multiple times.
Where the first one where they did the match where they've like I think it was against the Gun Club or something, because like I remember that was this scissor me daddy ass thing. It was like right before that because they did a really really good match like right before they won the title belts, but they lost. It's it's like matches like those where you don't think about like who's winning. You think that somebody's got to be winning. Only you know what the outcome is, but I like it when it's so good that it makes you forget about that aspect.
Well, AEW does that a lot. I've
Yeah,
noticed,
they
especially
do
on
that a lot
pay-per-views,
with
they'll have
some.
an early match that will basically telegraph what's going to happen later on in the pay-per-view. And
Yeah,
I'm like, dude, WWE does that every once in a while, but not very often.
yeah,
Like AEW does it a lot though, because it's like can't remember the last pay-per-view I watched, but it was one of the early matches, and I'm like, well, shit, that tells you what's going to happen later, because they weren't going to have that person lose.
Yeah.
But that was this case. You knew Timeless Tony Storm or Tony Storm wasn't going to lose, and
I could totally see
it would
Tony
set up
Storm winning or losing to Mercedes Mone because, like I said earlier,
the way they're
with the
pushing
dick riding
Mercedes,
thing, I think he dick rides for Mercedes Mone. I mean, I dick ride for Mercedes Mone, but it's mostly because I really love her as a wrestler.
Yeah, she's not very good behind the mic.
Yeah, like I don't really care so much about what she says on the mic, but
it's
like
WWE
her
speak
in
is what I
ring
hear.
is always good.
I always hear WWE speak when she talks. It's like it's almost scripted. Like she can't go off the cuff.
Well, I mean,
unlike we'll talk about it when we talk about the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, but Becky Lynch is one of the best people at talking. Like literally I watched the post news conference that she did after, and we'll talk about it then, but what she said during that thing, it came off as real, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Even though it's all scripted.
That's how it should be. That's one thing that some people are shitting on Trips for.
But yes,
like I like his villains right now. Like the one thing that I like about him is that he makes the bad guys sympathetic in a degree. They do it more like Shades of Grey, like how people actually are to a degree. This is different for them. This like the only person that I could see that they do that with is Hangman. And I think that's mostly because of Hangman's choices. Like I think he knows how he.
And we'll talk about it at the end of this one, but that result didn't make sense at all to me. But
to me, okay. So now are we going to go to the Anarchy in the Arena match?
That's the next one, yeah.
Okay. Yes.
So one other thing I wanted to say though is for that Tony Storm match was 15 minutes and 49 seconds. Yeah. So it was like the third shortest one on the card.
Okay. And knowing that I think it was 35 minutes and like 10 seconds or something for the
this Anarchy in the Arena match, which oh my lord.
It felt like a fucking hour.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, some people will say that they like this fucking match.
Well, Dave Meltzer must fucking. You talk about dick riding. You're talking about dick riding though. Dave Meltzer dick rides AEW.
Yeah,
I've seen his ratings, and I'm like, what the fuck did he watch?
Dude, he dick rides anybody but WWE. Yeah. He's so damn critical against WWE, but he won't fucking see the same hypocrisy when it comes to any of these other promotions.
He rated every match on this card like over a 4.
Yes,
out of 5.
He's a fucking idiot.
I'm like, what the hell are you watching?
Glazes these motherfuckers like crazy. And okay, first off, I know I've said it. I have to have said it. The last
the music part.
I fucking hate repeating music over and over and over again when you're watching a match.
It takes away from you like paying attention to me.
Yes, it takes away from everything because it's supposed to be chaos. Everybody's supposed to be able to see like all the shit on the cameras. That doesn't mean that you need to have 3 sets of different songs playing. The Young Bucks get the last fucking entrance with this founding fathers horse shit.
Yes.
To be like, oh, they're the founding fathers, so they're going to get their ass kicked at the end. Fucking ridiculous. I thought for real, because the last Anarchy in Arena, and most of the time, whenever they do the matches, the heels always fucking win. So,
well, and they went down that path, and then frickin' you're thinking there's going to be a surprise, and the surprise is Mark Briscoe shows up.
Yes, there's so much fucking issues, okay? They overbuilt the fuck out of this. Right? Because mind you, like the last Dynamite or Collision right before this, Darby drives
well, I think the other surprise was, what was his name from New Japan? Or
Hook showed up. And then Gabe Kidd showed up.
That's what it was, Gabe Kidd.
They should have had him in the fucking match in the first place, but no, they got to do the Death Riders, the whole crew, and then have Gabe Kidd, because you knew that somebody was going to come, like Gabe Kidd was going to get in the match anyway, so what's the fucking point of not having him on the show? So,
yeah, and this is the one you thought Darby was going to return at?
The Dynamite or the Collision beforehand, they had Darby drive a damn truck or a fucking car after his Mount Everest trip and ram it right into the Death Riders car. Then they got into another car, like they jacked somebody else's car and drove off. So literally, you're thinking Darby's going to show up at some point in this match. Doesn't happen. First off, they play the Founding Fathers shit. Then they fucking play the 180 song, I'm So Excited, 3 times. And then they fucking play Deadpool or Drowning Pool, and they play that 6 times until, oh, wow, this one speaker that's was supposed to have the music on it, it breaks, so they stop it. Tony Khan, stop with that shit. Talk about grating on my fucking ears whenever that takes me out of the fucking match. It serves no fucking purpose at all in the match.
Do I like the
like,
four?
It shows,
I do like
I like the 4 cameras, how everyone's in a different spot. Like Samoa Joe not showing up until like right before Claudio. I thought that was funny. There's certain moments that I really liked, like getting the stapler and fucking hitting Matt Jackson's in the dick. The tongue bit with Marina Shafir. There was very good moments on this match, but it was so overbooked. They spent an extra 15 minutes on the match that didn't need to happen. That whole part when Mark Briscoe shows up, literally you have Hook come out and then hit Claudio with something, like I think it was a golf club or something, and then Samoa Joe's like, come on in. And then he's like, no, I'm not going to do this. I'm only doing it for him, and then walks away. Then Mark Briscoe shows up, which, why? Like, you could have had Darby show up? Like, or even at best, at one point, they did this stupid bullshit where they threw all the Death Riders in the ambulance that miraculously showed up again. And then they're all sitting there and they're like, you got it, Kenny and Swerve, just sitting there. And then they're like, hey, comeuppance. Okay, fine. But literally, you could have cut down half of that match and fucking done the same shit. Literally, instead of having the guys up at the door, you could have just done the reveal that Darby was the one driving the ambulance and then took off. He could have just took off, and then that would have showed that they weren't there. But no, you didn't even do that. It spent so much damn time with, like, must I say, this gets me so irritated that it goes away from the Captain America Kenny Omega entrance, the Predator, which was sick as fuck for Swerve's entrance. All this shit that was in this match didn't need to happen. Literally didn't need to happen.
Well, like, then the new shoes, that was the other part, is
they were her fucking earring.
Members. Yeah, Willow was, I tell you, the highlight for me was the girls. Willow, as involved as she was.
Marina Shafir, because,
and then,
because
also,
most times people shit on her.
The other part with the overbooking is the advertising of Swerve's shoes with Reebok.
Yeah,
and then they had to put the thumbtacks on the bottom of them.
Then they did the thumbtacks, and they did the double stomp. Fine, whatever. But you could have done all this shit in 20 minutes and saved that shit down and then been done. And the sad part was, I went to go, what was it? I had to do something in the presence.
You had to pick Crystal up.
I had to go pick her up because, mind you, I was supposed to
pick her up at like 9
or 10. I missed the match completely.
Yeah.
Like, I got back and I saw Josh Alexander in the ring, and then I started coming back and it was over. Yeah. So I didn't even get to watch the whole thing, and I could have. Yeah,
it was only 12 minutes and 50 seconds. It was the second shortest one on the card almost.
And after that last match, I was fucking pissed. I was livid. I'm just like, right now, I knew I was going to have a rant about it because it's like, it's just ridiculous. And then it made it worse after the Josh Alexander match because it was like a lot of filler. Like, the Don Callis family doesn't even need to be a thing. You could be doing it with somebody fucking else. But
well, like I said, I think Takashita needs to be. All of these guys need to be pushed on their own. Yeah.
Like, why do they need to be in a team? They got many fucking teams.
Lance Archer's just a guy on the outside now, I guess.
Just to fill spots. Brian Cage, hey, we're going to put you in a million different spots. He doesn't know what he's doing with half of these people. So then he puts them all in a fucking group. Like, literally, what are you doing with the Don Callis family? You told the story with Kenny. You told the story with fucking Will Ospreay because of him leaving. That's it. You don't need Callis there anymore.
Yeah.
Like, literally, Kyle Fletcher, sure, like, doing the stuff with the Will Ospreay. But other than that, he doesn't need to exist. Sorry. Like, you got too many teams, you got too many tag teams, you got too much shit going on, and all these people are not solo. It takes away from all these wrestlers combined because you're dragging people down. Takashita should be on his own.
Yeah,
Like,
point
he
blank.
should be having one of the belts, one that beat Kenny for the Intercontinental, or like the whatever
The
the
one
fuck they
Okada
call the
has,
belt. Literally any of the
I mean,
belts. They
he
could have.
deserves that way
He
more than, to
literally
me,
could just
Okada.
do the match,
Yeah.
and they could literally have him do matches every a time for the belts. Like, literally, you could do the John Cena Open Challenge where you have Takashita going against everyone. Give you something to do with every fucking wrestler on the card instead of you putting them with the damn tag team.
Yeah.
Literally, I don't have anything to do. Let's put them. Oh, they're both from Texas. Let's put him with Dustin Rhodes.
Well,
Fucking
yeah,
don't
that's what
have
Sammy
no clue.
Guevara. And like I was talking
And
about
this
since
shit
then,
right here. What? Go ahead. Well,
I was just saying, since then, like I said, since Double or Nothing, they lost Mariah May, but then they brought Tay Mello back. I mentioned it
yeah.
earlier. So, which I believe.
Which, I mean, like, is good for her. I always like Tay Mello, but
Well, yeah, but I
still.
mean, it's like they brought her back because they lost Mariah May.
Yeah, because they didn't have
Though.
anybody else at the time.
But there's only one more match left on the card, and that was the main event, which was
And
Hangman
the
versus Will Ospreay.
one that I thought was hands down going to go to Ospreay. Hands down.
Yeah, I know you were talking about
what
the
was the
entire.
fucking point of doing all these matches with Will Ospreay, going against Fletcher, fucking Kenny, all these people that he was taking down the whole time, and then all of a sudden you swerve Hangman to be a good guy again and to get redemption, and then you're gonna do the same match where he's gonna lose to John Moxley. When you could have literally had Will Ospreay go against Moxley and then Moxley lose because Moxley doesn't need to be champion. He shouldn't have been champion this whole damn time.
And this is where I said the storyline, they fucked this one up. I mean, because this was built perfectly for an Ospreay win. Because they had Hangman saying it's a redemption, but Will Ospreay was saying it's my time. Like, it's
he's
my
saying
turn.
It's my ascension.
Yes,
that means,
and it's,
what are you doing? He should be going for the main belt. He's the main face that you have in the company.
And he's the one that puts on the best matches by far. Anybody that's in a match with him.
Even this match is probably my match of the night, but not saying much because I love Will Ospreay matches and I love Hangman matches. But like, it went on. Like, what the fuck were you doing?
Yeah, this one was 36 minutes and 56 seconds.
It's just like, I didn't understand their thought process when it came to this. And all it did was irritate me. All it did. And it's not going to make anything better for Will Ospreay. And it makes me feel sad because he would probably be treated better in WWE. And people would shit on me for saying that, but it's true. He wouldn't be able to, he would still probably be able to do the same matches. He just wouldn't be able to do the Tiger Driver 98 or whatever, 92, whatever.
Well, and that's what I think they're kind of giving him the same analysis that Ricochet got. I think they're kind of saying,
the same thing.
Look what they did with Ricochet. The difference between the two of them, Will Ospreay can talk on the mic. That's the biggest difference. I say that is by far what you need. If you want to get far ahead in WWE, you need to be able to talk. I'm sorry, because anybody that can't doesn't get pushed.
Yeah.
If you notice that,
that's what I'm saying.
I mean,
like, Ricochet couldn't talk, and then they didn't do anything.
Well, Asuka, based on solely on her freaking wrestling ability, got to where she got, because it sure as a hell you can't barely understand her. And some of these other ones, that's part of their problem too. Natalia. Is that when they get on the mic, they're not very good.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's why Becky got pushed the way she did. Even honestly in AEW, the reason Britt Baker got pushed was because she did that promo. Her wrestling abilities aren't up to snuff, and you're really seeing it now.
Yeah. Because seeing her in wrestling matches where she pretty much almost, like the one that I saw where she went against somebody and they botched one of her moves, Taya Valkyrie. They were supposed to do her finisher, and then she went up and then fell.
Yeah.
Like, and then they're like Grant, and like, see, this is why I say, like, I don't shit on it completely.
And you remember,
AEW, I give it, like, because everybody could fuck up, man. You shouldn't be bashing somebody for fucking up moves in the thing because stuff could happen.
Well, we talk about that all the time, but when they do it over and over again, it's like Nia Jax.
Yeah,
that
it's
chick
like you need to
botches all the time. And it's like, dude, how can you continue to let her do that?
And then some people are like, oh, she's gotten so much better. No, she hasn't.
No, she hasn't.
Like, the only thing is she hasn't thrown people face first into turnbuckles and shit. Like, give me a break.
Yet.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, give me a
break.
But
I mean, but like, you know, going back to the Hangman Will Ospreay match, Will Ospreay I mean, Adam Page, I like him somewhat, but he kind of reminds me a lot of like Jon Moxley in WWE, or when he was Dean Ambrose, where his match goes exactly the same all the time.
Yeah, like that's the problem too.
Like Will Ospreay, he's all over the place. You never know what's going to happen with him, but you know what Hangman's going to do in every match he does.
Yeah.
You know that lariat's going to come out at some point, and he's going to try it numerous times.
And then he did it like 3 or 4 times in this one.
And then it happens in every match. He's going to try it multiple times. And then they did the hidden
blade versus the lariat, and then he still hit him with it. I thought that was goofy. Instead of, they should have just hit each other both at the same time, and then both fell down.
Yeah.
Like, honestly. But I mean, that's me nitpicking on the match.
But yeah, I mean, plain as day, the result should have been Ospreay winning.
And that's what I said. Hands down, least favorite card that I've seen in a long time, because most of the matches were just dynamite matches, and that's why I say it should have. Most of this shit could have happened on Dynamite. That's why I say that if they would have done their 3-month schedule thing, it would have had the best feuds that they had out of those 3 months. The best storylines, the best matches, and then you would have had reveals and shit that you could do sometimes. It looks like a lot of their shit is so bloated that they can't do returns and shit. Like, they got so many people in AEW that literally they just let Abaddon go because they didn't really do anything with her in the first place. They just said that her contract was done. So hopefully, if anything works out, maybe WWE could hire her or something. That would be cool. I mean, like, I think that they could do more with their character, essentially. But anyway, with that being said, I hope that you don't, like, everything that I'm saying is just critiquing off of shit that I think they could do better on, and stuff that just annoys me and I have to talk about. Because some people might really like the match and thought that it was paced well. It felt like it was a chore. I had to go pick her up, pick my girlfriend up, through this match, because I thought it was gonna be over at 10 or something. It was 11 at this time when I watched it.
Yeah, and we watched it live this time. Yeah, literally, we watched it from when it started.
I watched it, I was like, it's still going? Like, there's 8 matches and it's still going? Like, that's one thing that I like about the Raw ones, or the WWE ones. They last 3 hours, and I think that's a good amount of time. I don't need 8 hours of wrestling every time.
Well, I say that, but at the same time, if you're paying $50, I want to see a lot of wrestling. It's like I always talk about when you would order a boxing pay-per-view and it would last 5 minutes.
Good matches, though. I wouldn't mind 4 or 5 hours.
Well, yeah, that was the problem with this one.
Good shit.
There was 5 filler matches on this card.
That didn't need to be there.
So it's
it's good for them to be on the card, but could have done something else.
Have storylines behind the two of them. I mean, technically, the Owen Hart ones are storylines because they had things moving up to them.
Well, I mean,
but all the rest of them, nah, not really.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I say it's different now, because they used to do shit where it's every match meant something.
Well, it's I remember back
this is a really good match, MJF versus CM Punk and stuff. It's ooh, this is a really good card. And then I watched this one, and I was like, it looks okay.
Well, yeah, it's just like when Hangman had the storylines where he was getting drunk all the time. And then he had the issues where him and Swerve were going at it constantly. I mean, those were all storylines. It's like right now they don't really have that. But anyways, we'll see as we get closer, because All In will be the next one that we do.
Yeah, and that will be the end of this month? Or
we might actually do that one live together, because I'll be I mean, that's on the 12th. Who knows? It's on the 12th, and I'll be leaving here on the 18th. So we either record it before I leave, or we may do it when I'm there in Florida.
I mean, whatever. However it will go.
But yeah, I mean, well, I guess I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. If you are watching it here on YouTube and you haven't liked and subscribed to our channel yet, we would love to have you guys. And click that bell so you get notified when the new podcasts or our new videos come out here on the channel. We're going to have some music video reactions, a few more podcasts coming out.
Yeah, I gotta do like a bunch of them that I haven't even reacted to.
Yeah, and then also, you know, I stream multiple days during the week and then all that good stuff. But
yeah,
if you're listening to this on your audio platform, we would love to have you subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast platform. We're available pretty much on all of them: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, pretty much all of them. I don't think there's one that we're not currently on. Yeah. But for all of us here at the Heart of Geek, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. And the next one you'll be hearing from us on for Wrestling with the Willies will be Money in the Bank. So we hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next one.
Yeah, we'll see you. Peace.